Welcome back, and welcome to the first ever Mock the Mock. We will be mocking a mock draft by Joe Marino of the Draft Network. If you don't know what a Mock the Mock is, basically what it is I mock someone else's mock draft and give you my thoughts and comments. So buckle up, strap in, and let's get into this mock. This came out January 10th, so 3 days ago at the point of when I'm recording this. I have no idea who Joe Marino is. And from what I've looked at and reading these mock drafts recently, a lot of people are just drafting for clicks. In my opinion, I think they're completely unreasonable. But we'll see if this one's different. I haven't looked at it at all, so we will see what is coming up. And with the first pick, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Get out of here. And we will see the Jaguars go with Kayvon Thibodeaux. I think with the first pick locked in for the Jaguars, this is totally possible for them to go. With any of the edge rushers. Personally, though, I think they're going to invest in Evan Neal. I think it makes the most sense to protect Trevor Lawrence and to put him in the best spot to succeed moving forward. And I think that although Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeaux are available and they're great football players and they're going to make the Jaguars team much better, I don't think it's the right investment to make at the current time. Their draft cap, their cap space, let me pull it up. Yeah, the Jaguars have the third best cap space in the NFL, projected cap of $71 million, almost $72 million. If they go KT, they could definitely go out and buy offensive line help. I just think you might as well get someone on a rookie contract who's going to be a 10-year starter moving forward in Evan Neal. That's just my thoughts on it. I don't think it's a bad pick by any means to take Kayvon Thibodeaux or Aiden Hutchinson at pick 1. With pick 2, we have the Lions, and they select Aiden Hutchinson, edge rusher out of Michigan. I think this is a very good pick. My thoughts in my mock draft videos were you could go Stingley here because your secondary will be elite with Jeff Okudah and Derek Stingley. But it makes sense to get the best edge rusher available. But again, this edge rusher class is so saturated. There's a lot of second-round talent that would be first-round talent in other year drafts. So for that reason, I'm totally okay with them taking Stingley. But if they want to go best player available, Aiden Hutchinson definitely is best player available on the board. So no issues here. Like this guy says, he is a blue-chip prospect. Yeah, good pick. Texans at 3. Okay, now this just makes no sense. What? Why? With all of the things that you need, don't get me wrong. I think Kyle Hamilton is going to be great. But Ike Makwanu is still on the board. Evan Neal's on the board. Davis Mills is had a great season. Why would you not invest in making that offensive line better so that when you either rock with Davis Mills or go out and get your franchise quarterback, he's in the best position to succeed possible? I just think Kyle Hamilton, this to me seems like a luxury pick where you're not in position to make a luxury pick. And Kyle Hamilton, no shots at him, but he is a great safety talent. I think he will be potentially in that Derwin James tier of safety. He's a better prospect than Derwin James was. But I don't know, man. This just seems again, I started the video, this is for clicks. I don't think Kyle Hamilton, he even says right here, dude, Davis Mills has shown plenty promise during his rookie season in an extremely challenging scenario that lifts the need for Houston to reach for a quarterback they aren't fully sold on. What Houston does have the need for is good football players, and Kyle Hamilton is the best prospect on the board. Yeah, but you have Laramie Tunsil and Marcus Cannon who were hurt all year. Trade one of them and draft Evan Neal or Ike Makwanu if you want to right tackle Evan Neal, if you want to left tackle Evan Neal, if you want just a left tackle, I would go Ike Makwanu because I think he has a higher upside. I think his ceiling is way higher than Evan Neal's. I think Evan Neal's floor is colossal, but I don't know, man. I think this pick is bad. This is just a bad pick. Jets, this is a good pick because, yeah, you could go Stingley. Both of the edge rushers are on the board. I wouldn't mind David Ojabo here at pick 4 if you are so set on addressing the defensive the trenches on the defensive side. But I think Ike Makwanu, I truly think that Ike Makwanu, if the Jaguars do not draft Evan Neal, will be the first tackle off the board. Just because when I watch him, he just reminds me of Trent Williams. He just obliterates people in any rep. They just vanish, gone, forever, goodbye. They're out of the play until next play, and he's so fast, dude. Like, you would be so, if you watch any tape of Ike Makwanu, the thing that sticks out to me is his speed, bro. Like, he just, and his strength. I'm so excited to see his bench reps at the combine. Like, this dude is a freak. I'm telling you. So, I was just in a conversation in the comments with someone in the last video. I have been low on Charles Cross, but I got the chance to talk to someone on Twitter who's like an offensive line guy, and he kind of showed me that Charles Cross is way better than I think he is, and I'm gonna believe, like, I'm smart enough to trust smart people that are smarter than me, and this guy's thing is the offensive line, right? And out of his big board, the number 2 prospect on the big board was Ike Makwanu. I'll link the list he sent me on Twitter into the description, so if you're interested, take a look at it. But I think Ike Makwanu's, it's going to sound crazy because he's picked 4 right here. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the draft. I truly believe it. Like, I think he's just a freak. Like, his ceiling is so high, and his floor is also so high. Like, I'm telling you, bro, like, Makwanu is an absolute mauler in the run game. Yes, like, and his pass reps at left guard were really good. His pass reps at left tackle are also really good, but he's so raw at left tackle because he's only been playing it for a year, and he's one of the best left tackles in football. So, like, I think the Jets, if they're not going to go Stingley, they need to go Neal or Makwanu here at pick 4 and get a replacement for Mekhi Becton. Not to say, like, don't play Mekhi Becton anymore, but Mekhi Becton is hurt. He's been hurt every year. He's been hurt. He got hurt in the combine. Like, you need a tackle that you could trust. Like, that's always going to be there. And Ike Makwanu, for someone like Zach Wilson, who's mobile, like, he is going to make, like, I don't know. I'm beating a dead horse here, but, like, I'm telling you, bro. Makwanu, if I'm the Jaguars, I think I would take Neal because of the floor, and I need to protect Trevor Lawrence. But if I wanted the best player available at the tackle position, I would go Ike Makwanu. Like, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident I'm not wrong. Giants at pick 5, they take Evan Neal, which I think they're going to take one of these 2, whoever it is, if they're there. Because we did a mock draft scenario where it went Evan Neal, Hutchinson, Makwanu, and that kind of put the Giants and Jets in a sticky spot. I think I went Jets with Kayvon Thibodeau, and then the Giants went David Ojabo. But I think that, like, if you get Evan Neal, you have your bookend right tackle for the next 10 years. Like, this is a good pick. If this pick, like, I've seen so many mocks go Karlaftis here, and it makes me want to just, like, it's just such a, like, you're picking at 5, right? So if you're picking at 5, you want a high upside player. You don't want a high floor player. Karlaftis, like, the NFL seems to be so much higher on Karlaftis than I am, and that's fine. Like, I could be wrong. Karlaftis is very productive. He's very efficient, but his game is so one-dimensional, in my opinion, and I don't think NFL scouts would combat that because every report is that he is a bull rusher. That's it. No spin move, no bend off the edge, nothing. It's just a bull rusher. So, I'm just saying, like, I like these 2. Like, these 2 picks were good. The first 2 picks were good. Let's see what else we got going here. Panthers take Kenny Pickett. And how I feel about this is I don't hate it, but you've invested a 2nd, 4th, and 6th round pick into Sam Darnold. Your team is not ready for a franchise quarterback, in my opinion, because your offensive line is so bad. Let's take a look at your cap space. You're 19th in cap space with $29 million, so maybe you could get a free agent to address the offensive line. And if you take Kenny Pickett, every penny you have in free agency needs to be on that offensive line. Because your defense is great. Like, fantastic defense. But I think if you're going to, because Kenny Pickett's going to beat Sam Darnold out. If you're picking at 6, like, he's going to start. I just think that it almost makes sense to take a higher upside player if he's going to sit a year. And that's why the more I've been thinking about it, I don't hate Malik Willis only if he sits a year. Matt Corral will sit for a few games probably and then start. Kenny Pickett seems to me like he's going to start right away, and I don't think your team, unless you spend $30 million in free agency on offensive line help, is going to help him at all. That's how I'm looking at it. Unless they trade Christian McCaffrey and get a first-round pick or a second-round pick that they could put into the offensive line, because the Panthers do not have a second-round pick, you're drafting Kenny Pickett, and then you're drafting players in the 3rd round and then the 5th round, and that's your draft. That's it. Gone forever. Goodbye. I think that's how. I think their 6th-round pick was. They have the 6th-round pick this year. I'm not sure if they have the 4th-round pick this year. But like, I don't hate it. It's not what I would do. I think I would go Charles Cross. But if you spend every penny in free agency on offensive line help, I think it's worth it. But I also think that Matt Rule is literally obsessed with Sam Darnold, that he's not going to do this. That's just how I look at it. Like, I could be wrong. But that's how I see it. Giants at pick 7 again, and they take David Ojabo. So I don't hate this pick. Edge is a positional need. But why I do hate it is the Giants are 28th in cap space with $5 million. So you're not going to really get any meaningful help in free agency. For me, I think your defense is good enough. You've cleaned house. You can maybe grab Vic Fangio to be DC if he doesn't retire. I think because your offensive line, as of right now, January 13th, 2022, you have 1 starter and 4 players that should not be in the NFL. This should be, since you went Evan Neal, this should be Tyler Linderbaum. I just think that you have your right tackle of the future, your left tackle of the future, and your center of the future. You take an edge rusher who's an upside guy, but like, your offensive line is so bad. Like, it goes 31 and then probably 6 million miles down the list to the Giants. Like, that is how bad the Giants' offensive line is. And a lot of light has been shed on it. Like, Colin Cowherd's talking about it. Ian Rappaport's talking about it. Every outlet in the entire sports football industry is talking about how bad Joe Judge is and how bad the offensive line is. You should not be taking, especially in a saturated edge class, do not take an edge rusher. And you could flip the argument and say, well, it's a saturated O-line class too, which you're not wrong, but your defense is miles better than your offense, so why are you going to you need to fix that offense. Like, it needs to be better. It just needs to be better. But I really, if you're not going to take, in a dream scenario, I think for the Giants, this would be Ike Makwanu, who you could stick at left guard, and then Charles Cross at right tackle, because then you have very elite offensive line, in my opinion. Or if you take Makwanu and Linderbaum, but I don't hate Ojabo. I just don't think it should be this high on the Giants' big board. At pick 8, Falcons go Jordan Davis. See, this is a pick where I have an issue because the Falcons' biggest need is edge rush, right? They also need a wide receiver. They also need a corner because they just have A.J. Terrell, who's a Pro Bowler, yes, but it's just him out there. Jordan Davis, to me, as of right now, and he didn't really flash this at all in the Georgia-Alabama National Championship game, he is really, as of right now, and unless he could develop, a 2-down run stopper. He doesn't really generate crazy amounts of pressure on the quarterback from the interior. He's not like Keenan Williams. So it's not a horrible pick, but it's not my favorite pick. And the Falcons' cap space isn't that great. So they only have $13 million. So we'll see. I think that this should probably be Karlaftis or... Is Stingley still on the board? Yeah, I think it should be Karlaftis or Stingley. I don't think it should be an interior defensive lineman. Or if you want, I don't know. I don't like that pick. Not that I don't like Jordan Davis. I just think it's not what they need. And at pick 8, do you really want to draft a 2-down run stopper? It's your call. Broncos at pick 9, Matt Corral. I like this pick. I think that this is the same draft order as the Draft Network, but I'm not totally sure. This was posted 3 days ago, so the draft order may have changed since then. But I don't hate this pick. I think that the Broncos definitely need a quarterback, and if they're not going to take Kenny Pickett, definitely go with Matt Corral. Another player I actually do like for the Broncos, but not really anybody else, is Sam Howell because of the offense they run and his familiarity with Javonte Williams. However, when I look at this, is why I'm very scared of the Broncos drafting a quarterback, because you got to really look at the bigger picture, right? I'm a believer of when I analyze anything, context matters. Context is almost paramount, right? So, do I think Matt Corral or Sam Howell can be better than Justin Herbert or Patrick Mahomes? Because I don't think in this quarterback class they can be. Should they trade this pick for Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers? And then could you say, then you arguably have the best quarterback in the division. I don't think Matt Corral is it. But they just fired Vic Fangio, and I think they fired their GM. So maybe he wants his own quarterback, and maybe he wants it now. I think impatience is really bad in this situation, but people are going to do what people want to do, so maybe they go Corral. I don't hate the pick. I really don't hate the pick because they do need a quarterback, but I think it would be better because your team is good enough now to trade for a quarterback who could compete with Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes twice a year. So that's just my thoughts on it. Pick 10, we have Jets, Derek Stingley. I love this pick. Stingley at 10, that is such, like the Falcons should have took him at 8. Like, that is a steal. Now you have, like, Michael Carter, who showed a lot of promise this year. I forget who their other corner is. I like this pick. If Kyle Hamilton's not here, definitely like Stingley here. I think if... Yeah, I like this pick. I was going to say maybe the Jets take Stingley earlier, but if you're going to get him at 10, like... My fear if I was the Jets, and this was my plan, is... Because someone will trade up for Derek Stingley if he falls. And a hot take that I just thought of could be if Stingley was here at 10, they probably, or at 9, maybe the Patriots trade up to get Stingley because they're obsessed with cornerbacks. But again, you have Andrew Booth, Ahmad Gardner, Kyer Elam, Trent McDuffie, all these talented corners. So maybe stay put and do what you got to do. But I love this pick for the Jets. I think there's a good chance they go double defense in taking Ajabo or whichever edge falls, or Kyle Hamilton and Derek Stingley, or Derek Stingley and an edge. Like, I think this is really smart to take a cornerback one because the Jets truly don't have one, and your cornerback group is not bad. They're just not good enough to be corner ones, is my evaluation. And I think that's very fair. And Stingley's going to make everybody's life easier. And I think Stingley's ceiling could potentially be, if he stays healthy, Jalen Ramsey. And I'm not saying that as in, I think he will be. I'm just saying, like, he locked down the SEC as a true freshman. Like, that is not... I don't know if anybody has ever done that, ever. But I love this pick for the Jets. I think it's a very good pick. Washington, that pick... Oh, my God. Yeah, no. This is just... Nah. Malik Willis, if you're gonna take one of the two. Like, Desmond Ridder looked horrible against Alabama. And that, like, I've been saying it all season. Cincinnati is the most overrated team in all of college football. Their defense is great, but their offense is trash. And just look at how many passes Desmond Ridder had batted down because he was staring at people. That's all you need to know is he's calling the play. I'm throwing to this guy, and that's it. Unless Washington can coach him into being because he is an athlete. Like, there is the upside of his athleticism, and you do have Taylor Heineke on a 2-year deal. But pick 11, bro, for Desmond Ridder after that performance. Like, I'd rather go with Sam Howell. Being completely honest, I don't like this pick at all. Like, I would if you're gonna do this, dude. Like, who's still on the board too? Like, Charles Cross is still here. You need a tackle. You need a wide receiver too. Bad. Like, I don't like this pick. And if you're a Washington fan, you disagree. That's fine. I think if you want to go quarterback, that's fine. I just think Desmond Ridder is not your cat. Just because, like, Malik Willis to me is a much, much better athlete than every quarterback in this class. And if you want to ride the hot hand of upside, do not take Desmond Ridder because I don't think his floor is much higher than Malik Willis's at the next level. Maybe in college you could argue, yes, like his floor is higher, but at the next level, like, nah. Like, just how I'm looking at it. I could be wrong. This is just my thoughts. Pick 12, we have the Vikings with George Karlaftis. I mocked this, and I don't hate it because of Danielle Hunter's fragility, so to speak. But I think because you just fired Mike Zimmer and you fired your GM, it really begs the question, do we want to rebuild? And for me, like, if we're rebuilding and we're still competitive, the Bears are interviewing Colts DC Matt Eberflus. There you go. Update. Breaking news. But I think it makes a lot of sense in a rebuild year where you're going to be competitive, right? Like, the Vikings, though they're starting a rebuild, will not be a bad team next year. It makes sense to take a high upside corner, which is something you need, in Andrew Booth or Ahmad Gardner, and give them a developmental year for then the next year in 2023, which I would imagine you're ready to compete in a better quarterback class, right? Like, you get, because Kirk Cousins will probably be gone in 2023. Might be gone this offseason. Who knows? But I like Karlaftis here at 12. Yeah, he even says, but collectively performed well with Danielle Hunter back in the fray and DG blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't hate this pick at all. Pick 13 is the Browns, and they select Garrett Wilson. I love this pick. I personally don't think they have it. I think they trade for Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers, but they have Baker Mayfield's fifth-year option. I would imagine they look to trade him. But if you're not, you need to get him help because he already has so much help, but in the receiving core, he doesn't. Like, he has Jarvis Landry, who's great, but he doesn't have that guy, and I think Jameson Williams and Garrett Wilson could be a true wide receiver one. And there's others that I believe could be true wide receiver ones, but at pick 13, I would go Wilson or Williams, even though Williams just tore his ACL. Apparently, he's going to be fine and is supposed to keep his 4.3 speed, which is crazy. But I would take Wilson or Williams here. I think this is a good pick if you keep it, if you're the Browns. Pick 14 is the Ravens, and they take Trevor Penning. I don't hate this pick at all because the Ravens do need line help. They do need line help. Their running back core is shattered. The Ravens have $27 million in free agency, and they're one of the best teams at maximizing potential. And I think Trevor Penning is a very raw prospect, but at 6'7" with a lot of upside, like tons and tons of upside. Good. This is a good pick for the Ravens. I think it's pretty early for Penning. Maybe you want to go Charles Cross, who's still on the board, or Kenyon Green, who's still on the board, but I do not hate Trevor Penning at all. I think the Ravens need to go Karlaftis if he falls, corner, because their cornerback room got blasted this year with injuries, or offensive line. Like, I think those are the position groups the Ravens should look to address in the first round. Don't hate Penning here. I just think Cross is more polished. Green is more polished. And Green could play anywhere, just not center. Left tackle, left guard, right guard, right tackle. But I don't hate this at all. I really don't. And the Eagles take Andrew Booth Jr. at pick 15. So I have mocked this a ton. Not Andrew Booth, but they need a wide receiver too. Jameson Williams is still on the board, who's a very good complement to Devontae Smith. I think he has familiarity with Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith because he was at Alabama, transferred. Oh, no, excuse me. No, scratch that. He was at Ohio State and transferred to Alabama. For me, I would go Sauce just because he's going to be better now and you already made the playoffs. So for next year, you have Darius Slay, who hopefully you would hope that he retains his production, but you want someone to put on the other side of him. I like Trent McDuffie, someone who could just or Roger McCreary, someone who could keep up with anybody to complement Darius Slay. I don't hate Andrew Booth because he's freakishly athletic and super fast, but in that division, it's a very physical wide receiver division with Kenny Golladay, Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, and then you have like your speedy guys of Kadarius Toney, CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, I think that Booth is a good pick. I personally would probably go either Jameson Williams or because the Saints are picking right behind you, so they're going to take a wide receiver. I would go wide receiver or corner, which would be Sauce, not Booth. But maybe I'll take Booth. It depends. Like, we don't know how, like, the Booth could be gone. I mean, not Booth. Gardner could be gone if the Ravens take him, so who knows what happens. Pick 16, I believe, is the Saints. No, it's the Eagles again. And they take Jameson Williams. Like, there you go. Like, good pick. Like, I would flip them. Doesn't matter. You're picking back to, so who cares? Take Jameson Williams. He's going to be fine, apparently. And then take a corner for sure. And then I'd probably address linebacker or best offensive lineman available because Jason Kelsey's getting old. If Linderbaum's there, I love that pick. A lot of Eagles fans gave me crap for it, but I think it's a great pick. And then at pick 17, we have the Chargers, and I would guess this is DeMarvin Leal, but it is Nicky P. I think this is high for a Nicky P. Actually, I just saw the Saints pick, but I think this is high for Nicky P. Again, like Charles Cross is still on the board, who's very, very good. Like I'm telling you, I talked to the offensive line guy. He broke it down. Charles Cross is going to be very good in pass protection. Very good in pass protection. Nicky P, it won't be as polished in pass protection, but he will be a good run blocker. I just think that I would definitely go Kenyon Green or Charles Cross before I went Nicky P. And if you're wondering why I call him Nicky P, is because I can't pronounce his name. But pick 18, we have the Saints, and they go Chris Olave. I don't hate this pick for the Saints. I'm very low on Chris Olave, not because I think he's bad. It's because, to me, he's going to be a wide receiver 2 in the NFL. This is why I don't hate it, is because if you pair him with Michael Thomas, it's good. However, Michael Thomas, everybody calls him Slant Boy, but if you go to the next-gen stats from the season he broke out, where he was the number 1 player in fantasy football, he was the best route runner at almost every single route concept he ran, in the top 3 of all of them, for sure. He was running slants because of Drew Brees' physical woes. It wasn't because of Michael Thomas' skill set. It was because of Drew Brees. For me, I like Treylon Burks here a lot because we know Michael Thomas could do everything, and Treylon Burks could be like baby DK Metcalf. So I'd probably go Burks over Olave if I'm picking here. With just assessing the board. If Wilson's gone, Williams is gone, I'd probably go Burks. Pick 19 is the Eagles again. I like Nakobe Dean here. Linderbaum is still on the board. I like Linderbaum here. If you want to go tackle, Cross and Green. If you want to go interior offensive line, Green is still here. Let's see what they do. I hope it's something crazy. Jermaine Johnson. So Jermaine Johnson is someone I'm very high on. I'm really excited to see how he tests. I don't know if I would take him at 19 yet. With Ojabo, I took him at 20 very confidently, and then the next mock moved him up into like the top 10 very confidently, and that's where he's kind of landed. With Jermaine Johnson, I have to watch more tape on him and do more study, but I think that he is someone who can move up to this position. I do believe that. Right now, he's going to be one of the first picks in the second round, but I think this is going to be... I actually really like this pick for the Eagles because they need to address their edge room. With Karlaftis, Thibodeau, Ojabo, and Hutchinson being off the board, I do like going edge. I like Nakobe Dean a lot here, and I also like Devin Lloyd here a lot, but I don't hate Jermaine Johnson by any means. I think this is a pretty good pick. It's definitely something I haven't thought about, but no, this is a good pick. This is a good pick. Steelers, take Kenyon Green. I love this pick. Personally, I'd go Linderbaum just because that's going to be your center. Wherever Linderbaum goes, he's going to be your center for the next 10 years. Kenyon Green will be wherever you need him to be for the next 10 years. That's how I'm kind of looking at Kenyon Green. And I think for the Steelers, it makes sense because they have so many holes, they could just put him somewhere. They just can't put him at center. So I like this pick because they're going to run through Najee Harris for the next however many years. You don't know who your quarterback is next year. Make Najee Harris's life as easy as possible. I like the idea of going offensive line here. I've done it almost every draft. The only difference, I would go Kenny Pickett if he fell. At pick 20, I think that's kind of a steal. And I have a sneaking suspicion the Steelers may go Malik Willis. They're a team that's going to maximize his potential. I think he would be a great fit in Pittsburgh. So that's another... I'm telling you, have that on your radar moving forward into the draft season. I'm telling you, the Steelers might be a team to go for Malik Willis in the first round. I don't think the Eagles will. I don't think a lot of these teams will, but I think the Steelers might. Maybe the Saints, but I doubt it. Jameis Winston was playing good football when he was there. No slight at Jameis Winston. I just think they're another team that is very good at developing talent. Pick 21, we have the Patriots, and they go Devin Lloyd. I don't hate it. But I don't think linebacker should be nearly this high on their list because Sauce Gardner's still here, right? And you need a wide receiver, and Treylon Burks is your N'Keal Harry replacement. Devin Lloyd is a great pick because you don't know the future of Deontay Hightower. You don't know Jared Mayo's future. Like, he's going to be someone who steps in and is elite right away. And the Patriots have they have $30 million to spend in free agency. I don't hate it. I just probably would go corner or wide receiver before I went linebacker. But knowing Bill Belichick, he probably will go corner, linebacker, wide receiver in his pecking order of what he wants. Just because they're a defense-first team. They always will be. And that's fine. They're successful. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised by this. I just haven't thought of it, being honest. Pick 22 is the Dolphins. I love this pick. I love this pick for the Dolphins. You're going to rock with Tua the next year. You're getting a new head coach, which is stupid. You should never fired Brian Flores. The Dolphins, if they go OLine, need to draft someone who is ready day one. They can't draft the Trevor Penning who is going to need time to develop. You're not there yet. You don't have the people to play while he develops. Play Tyler Linderbaum. He is your center for the future. He's going to make Tua's life easier. I like this pick a lot because this is for me, it would be Penning or Charles Cross. And you drafted, what's his face? Liam Eichenberg last year to play tackle. So I don't hate it. I really like it. I think they do need another wide receiver. And I also think that Nakobe Dean here would be a pretty good pick just because they need linebacker help. But with Brian Flores being gone and that defensive mind out of the picture, you probably would want to, and we live in an offensive-minded NFL, you probably want to make your line better. You probably want to get a wide receiver. And I love Linderbaum here at 22. I think this is a steal. Pick 23, the Raiders, and they go with DeMarvin Leal. So the Raiders are in an interesting spot because you don't. I think Rich Bisaccia has coached himself to another year. They might promote him to head coach. It depends if Derek Carr stays, what they do with Josh Jacobs. But for me, I think they need to tackle that that offensive line. But again, they're a team with $51 million in free agency. They could buy it, which I don't ever think. Buying offensive line is never a bad option, in my opinion. I like DeMarvin Leal here because he addresses their needs for run defense, and you could line him up off the edge because he's kind of in that middle of it's weird. He's in that middle of edge, interior D-line build. I don't hate this pick. But personally, Charles Cross is still here, and you've moved Alex Leatherwood to right guard, excuse me. I think Charles Cross would be your bookend tackle for the next 10 years. I can't say that about everybody, but I'm confident in it for Linderbaum, Kwanu, Neal, and Cross, and Green. I think Green will start for 10 years wherever you put him because he's just so versatile, and he's good at everything. He's a very fundamentally sound player. Outside of that, I think you're kind of you got to see what you got. But I like this pick. I probably would just personally go offensive line. Pick 24 is the Cardinals, Roger McCreary. So I don't hate this pick. I just think that the edge room needs to be addressed. I think corner does need to be addressed, so I don't hate it. I actually don't hate this at all. I think this is a good pick. It just depends, do you want to go edge first or corner first? And again, it probably makes the most sense to go or interior defensive line. But with Leal off the board and Jordan Davis off the board, I probably wouldn't. But with this scenario, and you have Arnold Ebiketie, Kingsley Enagbare, all available probably in the second round. Maybe not by the time the Cardinals are picking, but taking the best corner and then taking an edge later in a deeper edge class is not a bad idea. The Cardinals also have $21 million in free agency, which they could spend on a premier edge rusher if they want to dump all of it at one player. But yeah, I like this pick a lot. I think I'm a firm believer in if you're a competitive team, having offensive line and cornerback depth is probably the most important thing to get to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. Obviously, you need a quarterback and all that stuff, but for depth, it's corner and offensive line, in my humble opinion. Feel free to disagree with that in the comments. 25, we have the Bengals, and they go Charles Cross. Dude, they get Charles Cross at 25. Oh my god. Ew. This would be probably the pick of the draft. If they got him at 25, he's a top 10 talent, and you're getting him 15 picks after where he should have gone, latest, right? Dude. And Charles Cross' scheme fit is literally an air raid offense. He's not the best run blocker, but oh my God. God. Yeah, dude, literally. While weapons around Burrow are deep, the offensive line still needs help, and Charles Cross is a steal at this point. Yeah, no duh. If you knew he's a steal, why'd you let him fall this far? Anyway. 26 is the Bills, and they go Zion Johnson. Zion Johnson is moving up draft boards. I think if a team was set on guard and Green is gone, Kwanu would definitely be gone, but if Nicky P is gone because he might play. Darian Kennard is gone. I don't know who I would take first, Darian Kennard or Zion Johnson. But I do think Zion Johnson will test into the first round because he's fringe first rounder right now. But it's so deep. Think about how many offensive linemen have gone already, and we're at pick 26. This is a very, very deep offensive line class. And I do like this pick because he's a great run blocker, and they need to help Devin Singletary. And I'm assuming they go after a free agent. I think they might make a push for a trade for Saquon Barkley or Josh Jacobs is another one because I need someone who could just pound the rock in the red zone. They don't have that. Josh Jacobs is the ideal candidate, in my opinion. I know McCaffrey, the Panthers are entertaining trade talks for McCaffrey, and new GM might want to get rid of Saquon. But if they need someone to just run into the end zone, it is Josh Jacobs. That's just my humble opinion. And I like Johnson to help that. I do like Johnson to help that. Pick 27, we have the Lions. I think this should be wide receiver, personally, but we'll see what they do. Treylon Burks is still on the board. John Mechie, Jahan Dotson, or not John Mechie, George Pickens, Jahan Dotson. Treylon Burks, yeah. I think this is your pick. Like, because you have whoa. You have a great slot receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have no X at all. Nobody on your roster can play X. You're like literally a depth piece away from putting DeAndre Swift into your X. Treylon Burks is the perfect fit. So in the last mock, I literally called. I said, George Pickens is going to flash tonight on Monday and work his way back. I'm telling you, George Pickens will be a first-round pick or looked at as a first-round pick come draft time. And on Monday, he showed that. Like, that kid is going to be very good in the NFL. If you draft him in the second, I truly believe you're getting a steal. Because after Burks, if you go Wilson, in no particular order, Wilson, Olave, Williams, Burks, Jahan Dotson, then I really think it's George Pickens. Like, I think he's in that group for sure. And then I think it's pretty, besides John Mechie, it's a pretty steep drop-off, in my opinion. I haven't done the most research, but that's how it's looking, especially from, the fantasy buzz. But I got to make my own opinions and do more homework, which I will do. Pick 28 is the Cowboys, and they take Jaquan Brisker. I don't mind this pick. I think this needs to be a corner or a safety, and I like Brisker. He's viewed as the safety too because everybody's kind of forgets that Kyle Hamilton is like a top 10 pick, and they keep him in his own category. I think Brisker probably is the two. Maybe Daxton Hill or Jordan Battle. They're all kind of very close. So I think it's really a preference thing at that point. I just think I love Trayvon Diggs. I think he's a very good corner. But he did let up 1,000 yards in coverage. You need to get him help. I'm just saying, you need to get him help. And you really don't have a corner two, but I think two of your safeties are going to leave in free agency. So I like this pick. It has to be if Gardner's still on the board, I would definitely go Gardner. And it looks like he is. Interestingly, yeah, he's on the board. Oh my God, yeah, I would definitely go Gardner. Safety's great. Don't get me wrong, but it's not your biggest need. It's up there, but I would go Gardner. At 28, dude, come on. 29 is the Chiefs, and they go Trayvon Walker. I love this pick. This is someone I forgot to talk about earlier when I was talking about Jermaine Johnson. Trayvon Walker looked really good in that Alabama game. He looked really good. They came out hungry. Georgia's defense really showed why a lot of them are first-round talents, particularly Nakobe Dean and Trayvon Walker and Jordan Davis. I like Trayvon Walker a lot. The only thing is his sample size is a little bit small, but I think he is kind of similar to David Ojabo, where his upside is very, very high. And for the Chiefs who really lack that edge, you might as well. And this is a team that's very good at developing talent with Andy Reid. I like this pick. I like this pick a lot because I think it either needs to be edge, maybe add another corner, or if you want, get a wide receiver. But I think edge is paramount on their needs list. And if Treylon Burks is gone or Drake London's another one in that group that I forgot to mention. Yeah, I would go edge. Definitely. And then the Bucks get a steal here with Ahmad Gardner. I don't think there's anything to talk about here. They need corner depth. They need a wide receiver because Chris Godwin's future is uncertain. Mike Evans is getting older, and Antonio Brown is gone forever. Maybe. I don't know. I would go wide receiver or corner, but if Booth is here, I'm taking him before I take a wide receiver. Let's see how much money they have to spend in free agency. They have $32 million. They could go out and get Mike Williams, take Ahmad Gardner, or Allen Robinson, or someone. Like, take Ahmad Gardner. Pick 31, I believe, is the Titans, and they go Drake London. I like this pick a lot. Julio Jones has turned out to be the worst acquisition ever, and I like Drake London here. I think they need someone to complement A.J. Brown, who really is a yak receiver, but if you get Drake London and you give Ryan Tannehill someone who could go up and make contested catches, I like this pick. I would probably go Mechie or Drake London here. I think Drake London's going to be very good in the NFL. I think he's basically going to be a carbon copy of Michael Pittman, maybe a little bit better. 32 is the Packers, and they take Daniel Falele. See, this is my thing, right? Daniel Falele is a great raw prospect. But with how banged up the Packers' offensive line was, and with the ensuing idea or concept of Devontae Adams leaving, I think this needs to be wide receiver or a pro-ready offensive lineman. I would probably take Darian Kennard because he's going to play right guard or right tackle. Or Bernard Raymond, who's very raw, but he is developing at one of the fastest rates I think we've all ever seen, being that he went from quarterback to tight end to tackle and is like a second-round prospect as of right now. He's been playing tackle for like 2 years. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of them going line. I just think that this needs to be a pro-ready guy, especially if you're going to have Jordan Love under center. Like, I don't think... Not that there's no knock on Daniel Falele. Like, it's not. I'm just saying I'd probably want someone... Unless Daniel Falele grades into the first round. And I'm going to be honest with you. I thought this was going to be a lot worse from the mock drafts I've seen. This was really good for the most part. He might know more about Daniel Falele than I do, and I don't mind it if he's right. Like, I don't. Joe Marino, senior NFL draft analyst. No relation to Dan Marino, the GOAT. I'm just kidding. But, nice. Yeah, this is mock to mock one. It was a lot of fun. I think it was really cool to see other people's thoughts and ideas and kind of compare them to my own. But if you liked what you heard, if you liked what I said, if you disagree with me, if you agree with me, let me know in the comment section. And please do not forget to mention which team you're talking about, because that is a big part. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace!